It's time to get on with the upholstery. Through here are the girls.
That's done. One built up ready.
Let's just gently drop these in.
The brand new mohair hood. Hurrah, I hear you say. Lovely jubbly, very nice. Good, that's all set up. Hello, welcome to An MG is Born. I've just made a few changes. Can you hear me now? I've just made a few changes to my blast cabinet because rather than having the sinter balls, which are the aluminium oxide, which we do most of the blasting with steel with, I've now changed it to glass bead, tiny little glass beads, so that I can blast some aluminium bits for the engine. This is just a test piece that I've just cleaned up, and it's done a very nice job on that when you flip it over and you see how bad the other side was. OK, but the bits that I need to do for later on in the programme are this, the water pump, which I need to be pretty careful with, which is why I've gaffer taped up where the little impeller is there, and I need to be very careful about blasting here where the bearing is. We're going to give that a light waft just to bring it up nice and shiny. And also this, which is the inlet manifold, which you can see is in a pretty bad way. But in a second, they'll look absolutely gorgeous. The secret with this is not to be too aggressive with it, so we've got the pressure turned very low, and also the volume of glass bead we've got coming through is quite small, and you just kind of waft it over to get this polished effect. OK, job done. Next job, starter motor. This is the beast, and I have to say it looks big enough to start a jumbo jet. So it should be fine on my now 1860cc engine. A couple of things of note before I put it in. This is a pre-engaged type of starter motor, and what that means is that this is the little wheel or gear that interacts with the flywheel to actually turn the engine over to start it. When you turn the key, electromagnetically, it fires the gear out to its end position there, and that then engages it with the flywheel, but it's static until the point where it's engaged, and then through its solenoid it switches on its power to turn the motor, so it then turns the engine over. It's a much kinder starter motor, if you like, in terms of wear and damage to the flywheel. All it takes to pop it in is 2 bolts, top and bottom. Gently does it, don't want to scratch it. Top bolt won't go in. I can just about feel the threads. It's very close, but I can't get it in. So, what we're going to do to solve it is run a tap through it because it's so close, and that should solve the problem nicely. This is a top tip. We can't get in there with a normal tap wrench, OK? So what you do is you take your tap, and then you get a kind of interference fit with a nut, and then you can use it in a socket like that. 101 top tips from Les Dell, top engineer from Stoke-on-Trent. Can this be like that in Stoke-on-Trent? No. Little lesson in how to speak English according to those who live in Stoke, OK? Kind slice. OK, what is it?
It's where you live.
In where I come from, that would be kind slice. See, say it again. Kind slice. Kind slice. Council house. Kind slice. Now you know how to speak English.
But it's not funny.
Next, we've got lots of little bits that we've got to put on the engines, including this little blanking plate, which is where the mechanical fuel pump would have been in a previous life, and also things like these, the tappet covers. Now, I blasted these up and painted them all up. They're looking absolutely gorgeous. They've got to be popped on. This blanking plate goes over there like that. Only problem is we haven't got a gasket, so I'm going to make a gasket and Les is going to get all these little ancillaries on the engine. On you go. Thank you very much indeed. So, making your own gasket, we always have lots of lovely cut-offs of gaskets. All you do is lay your plate on top of that, and then, with your thumb, you make a little indent like that, and you put it over the hole like that, hold it, give it a whack, and it cuts out the hole using the actual plate as the cutting edge. You just then repeat that on the other side. Then you can raw around your plate and cut it out with scissors. Now, I'm only doing it this way around because this is a painted plate and I don't want to damage the plate. But if it wasn't painted, you could line up your holes with the plate, fold over the edge of the gasket, and then hit it with the hammer on the way around and use the edge of the plate again as the cutting surface against the hammer to cut out the perfect shape of your gasket. But I'm going to do it with scissors because I've already painted it. There we go, all cut out. Fits like a gasket with 2 holes in it. That's a good tip, that is, Les, you know. You're full of them today. What's the next job?
Oh, water pump.
Put the water pump on and the thermostat housing. Doesn't the engine bay look so fantastic when you start to add a few bits to the engine? It's really coming on. Obviously, we've left the old rocker cover on because the last bit to go on there will be the new rocker cover, and the whole thing will go ka-ching with glory when it's finished. But there's a lot of work to be done before then, and as you can see, there's a big hole down here. Now, obviously, there'll be carburettors here, but underneath those, first thing to go on are the manifolds, inlet and exhaust. Now, the inlet one I've blasted with the glass bead earlier on. That can go on in a second. But the exhaust manifold, few differences down here. Yes, me and my exhaust. I do like a decent exhaust. That's the original, and I've swapped it for this. It's a tubular stainless steel exhaust system. The headers and the Y-pipe have been ceramic coated. Now, there's a very good reason for that. Well, 2 very good reasons. One is to improve its efficiency as an exhaust system. The second is because it looks absolutely gorgeous. In fact, there's a third reason, which is very important, is because the exhaust manifold here sits right underneath the carburettor. So if you've got a stainless steel exhaust that's giving off loads of heat, that could have a really bad impact in terms of us trying to set up the fuel system and the carburation. So the ceramic coating will keep as much heat as possible inside the exhaust system without letting it out. So lots of good reasons to have this gorgeous, gorgeous, lovely exhaust. There it goes, nice and gently through so we don't scratch anything. Lovely jubbly, looks brilliant. Now, before I can bolt that up, I need the inlet manifold on as well because they share some of the same fixings. That's looking lovely.